Hello guys, it's Miss Kent, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to study. So Miss White and I have really been trying to get you all to do your work, right? And we just want to help you with some tips to make sure that we're getting it ready and in line to pass the SOL. So this is like a working session, and I want you to go get some materials. Some of the things that you're going to need is paper, and something else that you're going to need is colored pens. Okay? And so the first thing that you want to do is, if you don't have any note cards, then I would advise you to cut your paper into 4. So we're going to fold our paper into 4 sections, nice and neat. And we're going to do about 3 or 4 sheets of paper. Okay? We're just going to fold it, crease it, and then you're going to need a pair of scissors. And if you don't have scissors, if you take your fingers and really run it across, right? We're not going to make this long. What we're going to do is we're going to just cut them and make our own note cards. So you don't have to have note cards to say to get started. You can go ahead and get started with paper, okay? And so when you make the note cards, what you have to do, and this doesn't have to be pretty because this is for you, and I'm just going to be real. You can't learn these without putting in some work, okay? So the first thing you want to do is write down all the skills that we've learned. So the first one would be translation. So just write translation on the card, all right? Then we learned evaluation. You need to memorize this. You don't need to be looking at any notes. You need to be able to say these: translation, evaluation. Do you know what we learn next? If I could, I would pause this video and make you tell me. But anyway, the next one that we learned were our laws of exponents. So we're just going to break those down. Let's do adding, polynomials. Just write it on the card. Subtracting, and if you make a mistake like I did, not a big deal. Just put a line through it and rewrite it. Polynomials. Now we're going to need another sheet of paper, and we're going to kind of do this a little faster. Divide it into 4 sections. We got the product rule and the quotient rule. I'm just cutting my cards, and as you can see, I'm doing this in real time, and we're going to see that it doesn't take that long. Right? And so we got the product rule, quotient rule, negative rule, power rule, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I forgot. We have the 0 rule. Anything raised to the 0 is, I'm not going to tell you. You look it up if you don't know. Anything raised to the 0 power is, right? So that's the 0 rule. So now we did all of our laws of exponents, and we can use those when we're working with our polynomials, right? Then we move into our radicals, and I'm just making little squares of paper, nothing major, right? And so I have 0 rule. All right, we have our radicals, so I'm going to put square root. I want to see cube root, right? And then we're going to write equations, multi-step. Then we have literals and inequalities. So go ahead and get all of your skills written down. And do you see I didn't use any notes? It's nothing on my table. I don't have a notebook open. I'm just going through the skills, because if you don't even know what you're learning, it's no way that you're going to be able to solve those problems, okay? And so once you get all your skills written down, there are multiple things that you could do. One, you go through and you do the brain dump that Miss White and I showed you that we did in Google Slides. But the thing is, writing helps with memory. So you want to write these down every night. I would just make me a stack of these. And maybe you don't do all of them every night, but you go through and you may do a couple every night. So we're going to pick out 3 randomly, and then we're going to rattle off the rules or the strategies for them. So Miss Kent's going to close her eyes, and she's going to pick out the quotient rule. There are 2 things that you need to know for the quotient rule. All right, so we're going to flip it over on its back, and we're going to write divide the coefficients. Do we add or subtract those exponents? Add or subtract? Which one? So we're going to divide the coefficients, and then we blank the exponents. I'm not going to tell you. You should be telling Miss Kent. So what do we do with the exponents for quotient? Okay? That leads us to the product rule, right? So what do we do with product? What does product mean? Miss Kent not going to tell you. Product. We blank the coefficients. Blank means you fill it in. And number 2, what do we do with the exponents? See, we're studying. Miss Kent is right here with you, and she wants you to be your best. So we are studying our rules. So number 1, we looked at quotient. What do we do with our coefficients? And what do we do with our exponents? Okay? Product. What do we do with the coefficients? And what do we do with the exponents? All right? I'm going to be quizzing you in class, so you need to study. And if you don't know, look it up. All right? Let's go to subtracting polynomials. Oh, that's a tricky one right there. Sometimes when you're subtracting polynomials, there's a trick to that one. But what you need to do is go find you an example problem. And when you find that example problem, what you want to do is write it down, right? So we're going to do subtracting polynomials, and I need you to go find you an example, and then I want you to write the steps down. Guys, we're going to be doing something on Friday called Fix It Friday. Miss Kent and Miss White are going to replace those low grades when you show us that you have mastered these skills. So you want to take this time and you want to make you some flashcards and you want to study your strategies. Nothing worth having is free. So you got to work for it. So I'll see you in class tomorrow, and make sure you study those strategies.